having a great morning, yes? Involved with quantum learning for 25 years in all different variety, and from super camp to teacher trainings and training of trainers. And a few years ago, I came upon just an honest questioning of our methodologies. I'm a researcher by nature. I did my doctorate at Loyola University in Chicago, and I've always just been seeking what works and what makes a difference. And so what I want to share with you in our short snippet of time today are three things. How many things? Three of the biggest game-changing things that you can do at your school as an administrator, as a teacher, that will just bring new life and new energy and new validity to the why behind why it works. So I'm a person who I love to read. I'm a voracious reader. I love to dig into things. So what I want to share with you is some of the findings of the research behind some of the things that have been tried and true methods of quantum learning for decades, and then also some places where there's some holes, some places we can fill in to be even stronger. I had this experience. I was in Nashville Metro Public Schools, and we were working with a principal that this kind of started this journey for me, looking deeper into the research and the evidence base behind our strategies. And we had finished a training, and he was fired. Because if you don't make results in a year or 2 years, you're gone in certain places. How many of you know what I'm talking about? You guys have a lot of experience in the room as super camp. Internationally, you want to run the best organization you can. So what I wanted to start to do is look at what is it that leaders are doing differently in schools that are working? What about collective teacher efficacy? What about the effect size? The meta-analysis, the work of Marzano and Hattie, and how does that fit into quantum learning? How does that mesh together? So I'd love to take a look at some of that with you. If that sounds good, say, oh yeah? Oh yeah. All right, so the first one was gratitude. What was the first one? Gratitude. The second one was? Optimism. Yep, and optimism, and that has a high effect size. Another big, huge effect size is what? Movement. And the third big effect size I wanted to share with you that gets almost 3 years of growth in 1 year is collective teacher efficacy. It's two schools of almost the exact same situation. These guys are knocking it out of the park. These guys aren't. Why? It's because the teachers believe that it's possible. They like each other. They want to work together. They're going to push each other to be better. And there's an entire book written on collective teacher efficacy that I'm referencing by Jenny Donahoe. She's the Chancellor of Education in Canada. And she opens up the first few pages of that book, if you grab it, and she's sitting at a team meeting, and she's like driving to the next team meeting as a principal, and she's like, gosh, these schools are very similar. What's going on? How come these guys are just knocking it out of the park and these guys aren't? So it's about those relationships, and it's about getting in communication. Here's the message I want to send. What makes the difference is not just PLCs, it's how you run your PLCs. It's like all these initiatives, you got to laser in on what is the most important thing, what is the most important effect size. So get on that website, Hattie, what is it? You're going to see a bunch of QL stuff. So when you talk about an effective team, what's going on in that team? Does that team meet weekly? Does that team bring each other lunch? Do they ever do anything fun? Do they ever say a positive quote? Do they ever get around each other? Do they know each other's family? Do they care? How many of you know you'll go to bat for somebody who's a good friend, yes or no? Yes. Turn to the person next to you and say, there's very many good friends in here. Not usually giving this presentation to people I've known for 25 years. Okay. Sometimes we're up against a big challenge, yes or no? Yes. It's like, whoa, it's like Lacey Redmond. Dr. V tapped her on the back, said, I want you to go over to this school. What did her colleagues tell you? I didn't know I was going to say this, but what did her colleagues say? Oh, you're going over there? Her other principal friends, what did they say to her? Oh, sorry about that. Yes or no? Look at her. Yeah. I mean, and so we had lots of conversations. But why did Dr. V tap her on the shoulder? Because he knew, if I'm ever going to turn that school around, I got to have a game-changing principal at that school who's not messing around. And that school's had an amazing transformation.